For today, in the name of freedom, we take the battle to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sinners has finally released, and to be honest with you, this is a movie that I genuinely did not think I was going to be able to watch opening weekend. But it is here, it is, finally out for everyone to see, and of course, as most of you know, I usually don't do any sort of review for a movie that where it's spoiler free. I usually just do a spoiler review because, well, there's no point in me beating around the bush with the details. However, I am going to keep this first part of the review free of any spoilers because I feel like there's something that needs to be spoken about here. And that is that the trailer showed way too much. Way too much. And I think it's mainly the second trailer where they showed off all these things. Now, don't get me wrong, this movie was good. However, there were two main reasons why I give it like a 7 out of 10, 7.5, 8 out of 10, right? The first thing being that the marketing was. I'm tired of these movies that falsely advertise what they are. There's a difference between hiding what the movie really is and just flat out falsely advertising it. Because in the trailer, they made the vampires very apparent, very prominent, and you're like, oh wow, okay, this is gonna be a big part of the story. But for the first like over an hour of the film, probably 1.5 hours, there's very little vampires here, and like I feel like the movie just could have done a better job with this as far as the marketing goes. Is don't put the vampires front and center because movies do this all the time, and I have grown to be sick of it because we've had it with Halloween Ends, we've had it with The Meg 2, we've had it with Godzilla and Kong. All these movies that have a very simple premise that they know there's one thing that people will be looking forward to, and they will put the marketing all around that one part of the film. But then the rest of the actual full length film is like, eh. And Sinners is very much that. The first, nearly 1.5 hours of the movie is mostly just the two Michael B. Jordans, the twins, just kind of figuring out what's like, how to start up their business and everything like this. And of course, you're meeting all these little side characters along the way. But it's where the vampires come in where it just feels like a different movie. Because I understand, of course, in the beginning they did throw in this whole thing about the vampire. Well, not vampires, but like the conjuring spirits and stuff like that. But I just feel like it didn't blend that well with what the movie was before. It felt like two very different movies. It felt like it started off as like a Get Out. It felt like Get Out, but then it tried to merge itself with Evil Dead, and I just don't think that they really worked that well together. I say that I still really like the movie, but I said there were two things that held me back from liking this movie. Well, not liking this movie, sorry, but like giving it like a 10 out of 10. There's that. The other thing isn't really the movie's fault. Now, I do not have the best hearing in the world, right? And throughout the entire movie, obviously it's in Mississippi. They all have this cowboy accent. So, for most of the movie, I didn't really understand what anyone was saying. And again, that's not the movie's fault. It's just that I feel like people are saying, oh yeah, you should watch this in cinemas, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like if you do not have like perfect hearing and you can understand every single thing these characters say, I think that you should wait and watch this at home. And That's shocking for me to say because usually I am always the person who will say, go support movies in cinemas, go, please. And I just feel like I needed this movie with subtitles because I couldn't understand what they were saying half the time. And I am definitely going to rewatch this movie when it comes out digitally, and I'm going to make sure I have subtitles. Because like there were genuinely scenes like when Sammy the old man, I forgot his name, and the one twin, I actually forgot his name as well. Um they were all driving, they were in the car. I understood maybe like 2 or 3 sentences from that entire scene. I genuinely didn't know what they were saying. I was like, road here. That's what it sounded like to me. So, like, call me deaf, I don't care. But yeah, that's just the only other thing that prevented me from really, really loving this movie. Again, not the movie's fault. That was just a situational and an issue with the experience. So overall, for as the end of the spoiler-free segment, I'm going to just end off by saying temper your expectations with the vampires because they don't really do anything until like the last 40 or so minutes of the movie. And on top of that, if you haven't seen, well, I mean, you probably have seen the trailer, so it's probably spoiled already. But yeah, like, just remember to be patient with this movie. Just be patient because that first like 1.5 hours is basically just the characters talking. It is a lot of introducing the supporting characters, which, to be fair, the supporting characters are very entertaining, so it is worth it. It's just you need to be patient with the movie. And that is entirely up to the viewer. That depends on how much patience the viewer has. And, I am thankfully not like the rest of Gen Z. I have a really good attention span. Well, I like to think so anyway. So for me to say it, I feel like it is somewhat fair. It's not being biased. It's not me being like, oh my God, this movie is so boring. The movie was not boring at all. But I just feel like I was just kind of there being like, okay, this does not feel like the movie that was marketed. And now this is your warning because we are going into full spoilers. And let's just start off with the big one. That is that them giving away Haley Steinfeld and one of the brothers becoming vampires is the dumbest fucking thing they could have done. Why would you show that in the freaking trailer? I really don't know why they did that, but like I usually sort of go through certain important scenes and dialogue with these things, but because I couldn't understand what the characters are saying for half the thing, I can't really do that. But some scenes that definitely stood out for me were the musical sequences. The music in this movie is amazing, but also another thing that I would love to commend it for is the one takes. The one takes are gorgeous. There's one um in the town when the woman who's making the sign goes and like, oh sorry, the daughter goes and tells her, and then the wife comes back. That's all one take. In the actual uh building that they're having this party in, that's a beautiful one take with the music. That was absolutely fantastic. And even when the vampires are having their like musical sequence, I mean, I don't think that was a one take, but that scene was really, really good. I love that music that they chose. So yeah, the music for this movie is like a 10 out of 10. It is flawless. It's an amazing soundtrack, and of course, it is the freaking Black Panther Wakanda Forever music composer. So you really got Black Panther all over here. You got Ryan Coogler, you got Michael B. Jordan, you got Ludwig Göransson. I think that's how you say his name. I could very well be wrong. But yeah, as like a basic summary of the plot from the beginning to the end, it's the twins trying to put their start up their business and stuff, and then in the middle, well, not really in the middle, 3/4 of the way into the movie, the vampires show up, and then that's where the chaos obviously starts, and there were sequences with the vampires that I thought were great. Probably my favorite sequence of the film is when Sammy walks in on um, Haley Steinfeld and I don't know the guy's name. I forgot his name. No, it wasn't Shaq. It was Haley Steinfeld and Michael B. Jordan when they were fucking, and Sammy walked in. He just immediately closed the door because everyone was telling him, get Michael B. Jordan, get him, get him. But then no, he just walked out. And then when he came back, obviously, Haley Steinfeld had killed him. And I feel like that's probably one of, if not my favorite scene of the movie, just because it was such a perfect setup. It was so genius that the first time he opens the door, they're having sex. But then as soon as he leaves for like 10 seconds and comes back, she's like mauling his neck. It is such a fantastic sequence. I really, really loved that. And I think it's probably the best time to talk about her. Haley Steinfeld, I feel like this was an amazing performance. Absolutely phenomenal. I loved the way she acted. Of course, Haley Steinfeld is absolutely stunning, so I will watch anything with her. And this movie, she was just fantastic. Michael B. Jordan is a very lucky guy. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That scene. My man. But yeah, genuinely, I thought that she did a great job. If anything, I feel like they sort of underutilized her. I mean, I know she's not really meant to be a big part of the story because really, the story is revolving around these two brothers, and all she is really is one of their exes. So, you know, I can somewhat understand her not having the most screen time, but I feel like this is probably the best performance I've seen her give in anything. Um, and actually, I don't know. Bumblebee was really good. But yeah, I think that she did a great job at portraying both the normal version of her character and the vampire version. They were just fantastic. They really, really were. And I also quite liked her relationship with Michael B. Jordan. Well, that twin, that twin. I'm just gonna call him red twin and blue twin because that was their hat coordination, right? So I liked her relationship with red twin, and also she gives probably my favorite line that she has ever said in a movie, where she's like, "Oh, you have all this mummy, fucking help." Oh my god. Let's try that again. She's like, you have all this money, you can rob trays, but you can't steal this pussy for tonight. But fucking hell, I said, mommy. I mean, do you disagree? But of course, you can't talk about Haley Steinfeld without talking about Michael B. Jordan because he is working double time here. He's doing the Jim Carrey, and you know, I had no doubt. Like, he is very good at playing this like charming, charismatic guy, but here he's also playing a gangster. Well, he's playing gangsters. So they are meant to be, scary and intimidating. But I just feel like in the third act, there's some decisions that he makes. Well, I mean, it's not Michael B. Jordan's fault. It's the character's fault. Which is really stupid. But as far as the performance goes, Michael B. Jordan just does a fantastic job with both characters. And of course, when he is a vampire as well, which again, no reason to show that in the trailer. Don't know why they did that, but yeah, he was great. All the performances were great. I love the supporting actors. You got, three MCU stars here. You got Killmonger, you have Kate Bishop, and you have B-15. And they were all the supporting characters were great. The drunk piano player, the the married woman, I guess. I like her performance was good, but her character was sickening. I'm sorry, like what the fuck? She was so annoying to me. But I really liked the performance of the main vampire guy. I don't know what it was, but I loved his voice, his demeanor, and just everything about that. But one thing that I will complain about when it comes to the vampires, apart from them barely being in the film, is where does the first one come from? And there's always this issue with like vampire movies is okay, sure, or like a zombie movie, sure, this one bites this one and it becomes another zombie. But where did the first one originate from in the first place? And with Evil Dead, it makes sense because with Evil Dead, as soon as you open the Necronomicon, that's it. Hell is unleashed. Here, you just kind of meet him. Which I don't know. Maybe I'm just too used to being spoon fed. You could very, very well say that, but I don't know. I feel like there were some things that could have been a bit clearer. Speaking of, since we're talking about things that are unclear, the post-credit scene, right? It shows that Haley Steinfeld and the undead Michael B. Jordan are alive, right? But I thought that if the main vampire is hurt, the others feel it. When he was burnt up, the others burnt up. So, unless Haley Steinfeld's character and red red hat guy, Michael B. Jordan, went and hid in a place where they completely avoided the sunlight, that means that they should have also been burnt, right? But anyway, we got more Haley Steinfeld, and I'm always welcome to that. She's not Margot Robbie, but she is up there, baby. One thing though that I will say, just on a general note, is I feel like people are overdoing it with this movie. Um, I feel like they are just praising it for the sake of, because I am someone who usually has a very unbiased opinion. And when a lot of people like something, I am not afraid to say that I wasn't a fan of it. If a lot of people hate something, I'm not afraid to say that I do like it. But I feel like people just saying that this is like, oh, the best movie of the decade. Oh, it's one of the best horror movies we've gotten in so long. Oh my god, it's 10 out of 10. It's amazing. When you leave the cinema, you feel like your life's changed. People are really overdoing it. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It is good. But even if I had heard all the missing dialogue, I really don't understand how people feel this way. It was another falsely advertised film, which isn't really something that I will complain about as much in this case because the movie was good. The movie was good. If it was a bad movie, I'd be absolutely pissed off. But it ruined some big moments in the trailers, and it was just kind of odd, mainly towards the end. I'm seeing this movie get the level of praise that The Substance got. And, obviously two very different movies, but I'm going to be honest with you, I much prefer The Substance. I think that as far as people's reactions go, I've never seen a single person hate The Substance or say anything negative about The Substance. And that makes sense to me. But saying that this movie is like flawless and just absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal is fair enough. But like saying it's perfect, like, I don't know about that. Like from the things that I've seen this year, of which there's like four, it is still number one. Although runner up is Novocaine, and Novocaine was really entertaining. So I feel like it honestly might go above Sinners, but I feel like Sinners is the definition of a movie that you appreciate more than you enjoy. Because I felt the same way with Get Out. Although with Get Out, I really, that like made no fucking sense to me. I'm sorry. Like that movie to me, I'll never understand why people act like it is the best thing in the world. It was cool. It was cool. But really, I don't know how people came to the conclusion, oh yeah, the maid was this person who's been put into this body, and this guy was that person put into that body. All they said was that they put their minds in the bodies of other people. That's all they said. That's all they said. So how the hell did people make this connection? Did you go and like study this movie for like 12 hours straight after watching it? So I mean, I do think that Sinners was like infinitely better than Get Out. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I know people love Get Out, but Sinners to me was way better. But yeah, There's multiple movies throughout decades, hell, centuries, where we just go, on a from a filmmaking perspective, this is fantastic. But as a movie, I won't really rewatch this. Psycho is a good one. Psycho is an absolutely amazing horror film, but it is not as enjoyable as something like Child's Play 2 or like Bride of Chucky. I don't know why I chose the Chucky movies. Those aren't even horror, but you know what I mean. There's those horror movies that are amazingly made, but are not entertaining enough to rewatch, or are not very entertaining. Sinners to me is that. It's not the most entertaining thing in the world, but as a film, it is exceptional. So, yeah, I feel like I have been very negative on this movie, but I'm just giving my honest thoughts. It's a mixed bag. It is. Um, and I feel like I'm being forced to enjoy this more than I did, because I saw people praising this like it was like God's gift to man. And I just don't feel that way about this. And I don't know. I really have no clue on what to do here. Because I even recorded like a little segment of me being like, oh yeah, this is just me, just before I watch it. This is not what I expected. And I'm going to be honest with you, in that opening scene with all the jump scares, I genuinely thought this was going to be a freaking terrifying movie. Because I was like, oh my god, is this really what we're in for? Sorry, it's 3 a.m. But yeah, I was like, really? Is this what I'm in for? I'm so dead. But yeah, no, the movie wasn't that scary, to be honest. So yeah, overall, I will give Sinners probably like a 7.5 out of 10, which is kind of crazy considering I gave Captain America Brave New World like a 6. But I will say that's a huge like gap between Captain America Brave New World and Sinners. But yeah, in closing, I will say that Sinners is the definition of a movie that I respect more than I enjoyed. But yeah, please do not hate me in the comments, please. I already get enough flack for things that I like and things I don't like. Don't roast me. Don't beat my ass in the comments. Be civil. Be respectful. I don't know why I'm saying being respectful when I'm not even respectful to the thing, to this movie. But anyway, please, just anything and everything. Let me know your thoughts on this movie, on my opinions, and I just need to like how oh my god, how angry are you that I didn't understand a lot of the movie? Because I feel like that's a very annoying reason to not enjoy a movie as much. But yeah, please just let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, then please leave a like, subscribe, and goodbye.